Vanashari Jai. Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Shri Guru ki Jai. Swagatam, Swagatam, welcome. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjara Shalakaya Shakshu Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Samjivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Rishakam Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagate Gopesh Pikar Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchane Gurangi Radhe Vrindavane Jvari Vishabhanusute Devi Panamami Hare Priye Vam Shakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhuvaiva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. So this is 9th canto. It's 996. The dynasty of Anshuman. Shri Bhagirato Vacha Sadava Nyasina Shanta Sadavo Nyasina Shanta Brahmishta Lokapavanaha Brahmishta Lokapavanaha Haranti Agam Te Angasangat Haranti Agam Te Angasangat Teshu Aste Hi Agabit Harihi Shri Bhagirato Vacha Sadavo Nyasina Shanta Brahmishta Lokapavanaha Harantyagam Tenga Sangha Tejvashte Yagavidarihi Shri Bhagirato Vacha Sadavo Nyasina Shanta Brahmishta Lokapavanaha Harantyagam Tenga Sangha Teshvashte Yagavidarihi. Please.
Shri Bhagirata Vacha Sadavo Nyasina Shanta
devotees, ladies, okay. Shri Bhagirato Vasham. Bhagirath said. Sadabha, saintly persons. Nyasina, sannyasis. Shanta, peaceful, free from material disturbances. Brahmishta, expert in following the regulative principles of Vedic scriptures. Lokapavanaha, who are engaged in delivering the entire world from a fallen condition. Haranti, shall remove, agam, the reactions of sinful life. Te, of you, Mother Ganges. Anga Sangat, by bathing in the Ganges water. Teshu, within themselves. Aste, there is. He, indeed. Agabit, the Supreme Personality who can vanquish all sinful activities. Hari, the Lord. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Bhagirath said, those who are saintly because of devotional service and are therefore in a renowned order, free from material desires, and who are pure devotees, expert in following the relative principles mentioned in the Vedas, are always glorious and pure in behavior, and are able to deliver all fallen souls. When such pure devotees bathe in your water, the sinful reactions accumulated from other people will certainly be counteracted. For such devotees, always keep in the core of their hearts the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can vanquish all sinful reactions. Purport. Mother Ganges is available to everyone for bathing. Therefore, not only will sinful persons bathe in the Ganges water, but in Ardwar and other holy places where the Ganges flows, saintly persons and devotees will also bathe in the waters of the Ganges. Devotees and saintly persons advanced in the renounced order can deliver even the Ganges. Tirti Kuvanti Tirtani Swantastena Gadabrita. Bhagavatam 1:13-10. Because saintly devotees always keep the Lord within the core of their hearts, they can perfectly cleanse the holy places of all sinful reactions. Therefore, people in general must always respectfully honor saintly persons. It is ordered that as soon as one sees a Vaishnava, or even a sannyasi, one should immediately offer respects to such a holy man. If one forgets to show respect in this way, one must observe a fast for that day. This is a Vedic injunction. One must be extremely careful to refrain from committing offenses at the lotus feet of a devotee or saintly person. There are methods of prayaschit or atonement, but they are inadequate to cleanse one of sinful reactions. One can be cleansed of sinful reactions only by devotional service, as stated in regard to the history of Ajamil. Kechit kavalaya bhaktya vasudev parayanaha agam dunvantikas nyena ni haram hiva bhaskaraha. Only a rare person who has adopted complete and unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Bhagavatam 6.1.15. If one is under the protection of a devotee and sincerely renders service unto him, by this process of Bhakti Yoga, one is certainly able to counteract all sinful reactions. So this is Bhagirath speaking here. Just a little reminder of the storyline. In the line of, this is Suryavansh, and there's two dynasties in this universe. Suryavansh, the Sun dynasty, and Chandravansh, the Moon dynasty. So we are in the Suryavansh. Much later will appear the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Lord Ramachandra. Much below. So, as you remember, there was one king, Sagar. Sagar means he is born with poison. It's heavy, it's a heavy bird. His mother was sharing the kingdom with co-wives. And sometimes due to envy, this is unfortunately human nature, we are envious. We tend to be envious of God, that reflects on being envious of other jivas, living entities. So what happened is, this lady was pregnant, she had co-wives. What did they do? Because they didn't have any children themselves, they poisoned that lady. How nice. It happens in 6th canto with Kingship chapter 2. So even though the lady was poisoned, still she delivered the child. And she named him Sagar. Sagar means he's born with poison. So he had two wives, and he was about to perform Ajameda Yagya, which is you let loose the horse, and whoever stops the horse, it implies that it is opposing the ruler. Means he's finding opposition with the ruler, so there will be a fight. But on the other hand, if no one stops the horse, whichever land the horse will conquer, that land will be the ownership of the king, who has let the horse run loose. So what happened after 1 year, the horse didn't come back. King Sagar was wondering what happened to the horse. So he had two wives. With one wife he had 60,000 sons. How many, our parents, how many children did they have? My parents had 3 children. That's considered a lot in France. Actually in France, if you have 3 children, you only balance out the death rate. You know that? That's why they're importing foreigners. Because they know they're going to have more children than the locals. To just balance it out. So, 60,000 sons. You can well imagine they had different stamina altogether. Anyway, he sent out those 60,000 children to fetch for the horse. But they never came back. In their stupidity, when they tracked down the horse, they came to the ashram of Kapil, which is in the Bay of Bengal, in the delta of Ganges. And there they found the horse smoothly grazing next to Kapil, Dev, who was in total samadhi. He himself is Vishnu Tattva. He's not a Jiva. Kapil is Vishnu. It's God himself. And they immediately, in their stupidity, they concluded that he must have stolen the horse. And the reaction is so severe. We're going to discuss today 3 topics. Ganga. We're going to discuss Transchit, the atonement in case of Aparad. And we're going to discuss about Vaishnava Aparad, Lord Krishna willing, if we have time. So they committed a severe Aparad. Can you imagine? They are implying that God himself stole the horse. How foolish can it be? There's no limit to the foolishness of human beings. So immediately they were smothered to ashes. Smothered to ashes. So then the news got reported to King Sagar, and he undertook severe penances to atone for the mistakes of his sons, stupid sons. And basically what he had in mind was to deliver my sons from, can you imagine if you basically offer the Lord, you may become a ghost. It's a very severe reaction. They had been smothered to ashes. They will be lingering in subtle bodies. Ghost means subtle body, linga sharir. You are roaming at least 425 years. So he undertook severe penances to atone for the mistakes of his sons, and he left his body while doing austerity. His son he had another wife with whom he had another son, Asan Mojasan. He also undertook severe penances. Actually, they conceived of a plan, to atone for the mistakes of those 60,000 sons. And they figured out, if we propitiate the Ganges to come down on this planet, and if it flows over the ashes of these ancestors, perhaps they will be relieved. So Sagar tried, he didn't succeed. His son tried, Asama Ojasa, didn't succeed. Anshuman, the son, we are talking about now in this section here, dynasty of Anshuman. He tried, but also didn't succeed. Can you imagine how severe is the offense? It took 4 or 5 lifetimes of full-fledged austerity to atone, to pay the price. Sagar didn't succeed, Asan Mojasa didn't succeed, Anshuman didn't succeed, Dilip, the son of Anshuman, didn't succeed. The son of Dilip was Bhagirat, to this today's class. So Bhagirat undertook also severe austerity. And finally, he propitiated Ganges, and she agreed, but she had 2 conditions. What are those 2 conditions?
Someone has to hold her on planet Earth, because if she jumps, she can go down to the planet.
Exactly.
Didn't want any impious people to go.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu? Did I share? Yeah, you didn't hear, so I will repeat. First condition of Ganges was a male should bear the force of the flow of my water. I don't know if you have been to Gangotri. I've been to Gangotri. This is the birth of Ganga on this planet. It's gushing out of the glacier. I've seen with my own eyes. You have boulders of 50 tons of ice rolling in the Ganges. This is as big as a house, those boulders of ice. One week before I came, one boulder fell off. It killed 50 persons. So this is Ganges. This is not the same river. It's a very powerful river. So, first condition, in Bhagirat, he managed to fulfill that condition. Whom did he ask? Lord Shiva. That's why Lord Shiva is called Gangadhar. Gangadhar means is holding the Ganges in his matted hair. And he has, we have seen, he has half moon crescent. First condition. Second condition, she was very concerned with, before she accepted the plea of Bhagirath, she asked for second condition. What will happen to my waters? I know
They will be overloaded with sinful reaction.
Exactly, Prabhu. Thank
and
you.
then she agrees to stay someone only 10,000 years from now.
Yes, true.
Then after too much sinful people,
Yes.
she will vanish.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So Prabhu said, the second condition was, many sinful people will take bath in my waters to purify themselves. So after a long time, I will myself become also contaminated. So what is the remedy for that? And Bhagirathi, this is exactly what he said here. Actually, it was echoed by Sonaka Rishi in the first 1115. He says, Yat Pada Samshraya Sutta. He's speaking to Sutta Goswami. Those who take shelter of your waters, Munayo, Prashamayanaha, the Munis who take shelter of your waters will purify you. This is the power of a pure devotee. Bhagavad Tirtha Kurvanti. When Vidur came back from 38 years of parikrama, can you imagine? 38 years of parikrama. He came back to Hastinapur. After the war, everything was over. Yudhishthir told him exactly that point. Tirtha Kurvanti, you are yourself a tirthapad personified. You are a holy tirth personified. Wherever you go, you purify the land. So those devotees, Sonaka Rishi says here, Sadhya Punantya Pashprishta, at once they have the power to purify even the Ganges. The Ganges will purify yourself after a prolonged period of time. Every day you take baths. I was 10 years in Mayapur. Every day I would take baths, 2 to 3 times a day. I would drain the Ganga Jal. This is, people will say, there's so many corpses, cadavers in the Ganga. It's true. You find you taking bath, people will pass through by the banks, cleanse themselves, some others will bathe themselves, try to purify themselves. As you purify yourself, you see a corpse, you see a beast, the cadaver of a cow or buffalo flowing down the river. Sometimes you may even see a human corpse. So people will jump to hasty conclusions. What will they say? Human nature. What will they say? This is horrible. This water is highly polluted. Even the English figured it out. The English were 250 years in India. What is the only water they would take on board the ships plying from Calcutta to London? It takes a few months to ply all the way to London. What is the only water they would take on board? Ganga Jal. Ganga waters. They knew. Even the Brits knew. This water will last long. Because the sailors would get all kinds of diseases due to bad water. Ganga Jal will remain perfect. Ganga Jal is never contaminated. Why? What is? Let's talk about Ganga Jal a little bit. Where is Ganga coming from? Let's be interactive. Yes,
Himalaya?
yeah. Yeah, but he raised his hand, so he's in priority.
From the I don't know, maybe the feet of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu.
Yes. Vishnupadi. In the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, remember Lord Vamdev, who is Bali? It's a great story. Lord Vamdev was Trivikram, Urukram, is God himself, his little avatar. He was a small dwarf, a Brahmin, little Brahmin dwarf. Dwarf means Anna. And what happened is Bali Maharaj considered to him 3 steps of land. I don't need more. I'm a brahmachari, just enough to lie down. But lo and behold, what did he do? He expanded himself. In 2 steps, he covered the entire universe. Trivikram, Urukram is his exploit is to, in 3 steps, in 2 steps even he covered the entire universe. What is he going to do with his 3rd step? Bali Maharaj, this is his greatness. Even though he was Asur, Daitya, son of Prahlad, grandson of Prahlad, he told him, put him on my head. But within his 3rd step, he pierced the covering of the universe. And which is beyond the universe, which water is there? Which water is there? Is it the Atlantic Ocean?
Causal ocean.
Sagar, yeah, actually causal ocean. Thank you, Prabhu. It's called the river Viraja River. Thank you. This water, can you imagine, is coming from outside the covering of the universe. Just a few drops sprinkled inside. Don't think it's a whole big flow of the ocean. No, just a few drops of water from the causal ocean penetrated through that hole. This is Ganga. So, and because of Bhagirath today, we are learning that he has propitiated Ganga. She told him, I need 2 conditions. Who's going to receive my waters? I need a male, very powerful male. Lord Shiva agreed. So it fell on the head of Lord Shiva, Gangadhar, and it remained there for 1,000 Divya Yuga. Can you imagine? 1,000 Divya Yuga. 1,000 cycles of 4 ages. Then, just a few drops from the causal ocean penetrated through that hole. Then it first flows on the heaven, Svagalok. Svagalok is compared to the soles of the Lord's feet. And that is why Ganga has many names. One is Vishnupadi, is coming from Vishnu Vamdev, pierced the covering, Pada was his feet, Vishnupadi she's called. She's called Bhagirathi because thanks to Bhagirath, he brought her down here. She's called Janavi. Why is she called Janavi?
Because sage Jana drank her.
Janu. There was one king. He was performing austerities by the banks. In those days, there was no Ganga as yet. But she happened to follow Bhagirath was on his horse galloping towards the delta of Ganga, towards the Bay of Bengal. Why? Because he had in mind, if I can bring down Ganga all the way down to the ashes of my ancestors, they will be freed. While doing so, she flows by today's Mayapur. Who was meditating there? One rishi, Janu. He gulped Ganga in one gulp. The whole Ganga, the whole river, he swallowed. Because he was bothered by the noise of the flow. Just imagine the power of these people. They can follow one river like this. So then Bhagirath, he pleaded to the sage, please, my dear sage, I need this water to free my ancestors. So finally, he condescended and he, I would say, spat out the Ganga. That's why it's called Janavi. She's called Janavi. So then it goes from Svagalok, Dhruvlok also. This is a part of the universe. Saptarishi, it flows. It goes on top of Brahmapuri. Brahmapuri on top of Sumeru mountain. There's a very big golden mountain. On top of this mountain there is the main demigods are there, and Brahmapuri is there. This is like the residence quarters of Lord Brahma. So Ganga comes on the top, Mount Sumeru, and it's going to divide in 4 rivers. Actually, what we get here on earth is only 1/4 of Ganga. And that itself can carry boulders of 50 tons of ice. So just imagine the original Ganga. And this is just sprinkles coming from Kozo Ocean. So anyway, today we are learning that the pure devotees have the power to purify even Ganga. It sounds totally mind-boggling. Why is that? Why a pure devotee, someone who's totally dedicated, surrendered to God, can even purify Ganga? We can be interactive. Huh? Because they have
Krishna in their heart.
Yes, exactly. There's a verse spoken by Sanak Sanatan to his disciple Prithu. Yatpa Yatpada Pankajapalasa Vilasa Bhaktya. They are taking shelter of the petals or the toes of the Lord's lotus feet. And there is enjoyment there. Vilas. Vilas means enjoyment. Bhaktya, through bhakti. They are reveling in pastimes of love with the Lord. And because of that, karmashayam. Karmashayam means the desire to be happy materially. You know, even devotees, unfortunately, as long as we are sadakas, as long as we are struggling with our senses, as long as we are trying to control our mind and senses, at times, not all the times, but we tend to be frail, to have frailties. Hridaya Durbalya is called, weaknesses of heart. And we tend to enjoy through material activities. As soon as you try to enjoy through material activities, karmashaya means it's demoniac. It's demonic. So demonic is a very vast understanding. Demonic doesn't mean, werewolf with big fangs. No, you can be demonic with a 3-piece suit. It roots from that word karmashayam, the desire to be happy materially. That's demoniac. According to Prithu, according to Sanatan, according to also, it appears in one of the big Mula Mantra of Nrsingadev, in the 5th canto. Karmashayam, gratitam. There's a knot in the heart. As soon as you try to enjoy or to be happy separately from Krishna, it's going to tighten Hridaya Granthi. Hridaya Granthi means the knot in the heart. There is a knot in the heart. So when you practice devotional service, it loosens up the knot. When you try to enjoy materially, it tightens up the knot. You understand? Udgratayanti Santaha. The devotees, the powerful devotees, they have the ability, Udgratayanti, they can root out. Can you imagine the power? Prabhupada said it like that. He can root out the knots in the heart. One time there was one magician, he came to his ISKCON and he was performing so many feats. You know, magicians are quite spectacular. They can make disappear one book, reappear. I mean, sometimes they're called illusionists. They are quite, I mean, I've seen a few, it's quite mind-boggling. So Prabhupada was laughing, and the devotees were a bit annoyed because they were trying to figure it out. Is it fine? Is it bona fide? Is it Maya? Prabhupada was kind of laughing to the guy. Then he said, my turn. No. Prabhupada said, my turn. He said, see all these youngsters? They were full-fledged Vikarmi. Vikarmi means demoniac persons. They're trying to be happy through material activities. I made them all pure devotees. Can you do that, my dear son? And the man was like, no, sorry, please explain to me. So Prabhupada, by far, he can root out, it's unheard of. He can root out the karma shayam. That is why they are actually stronger than them. Ganga will purify you after prolonged use, prolonged bathing every day. Look at me. I bathed every day for 10 years. Am I really getting purified? Perhaps a little bit. I did. But compared to Srila Prabhupada, it's nothing. Let's take a vivid example. You have never been to Ganga. Who has been to India? Who has taken bath in the Ganga? Okay, great. Some of you didn't. Does it mean you're doomed? You're doomed? No, you're not doomed. See? This is the greatness of pure devotees. Others, tavanna rikta matayo yatayopi ruda. Ruta matayo means others. Gyanis, yogis, karmis, vikarmis. They are trying to stop the waves. Shrotogana means the waves of sense gratification. Sense gratification is like an ocean. We are tossed about by the waves of Shrotogana, the sense gratification. This Purusha Abhiman is very deeply rooted. This Karma Shayam, deeply rooted. Even though we want to stop Maya. Does it work? Oh Krishna, I will stop Maya from today. You may pass the result. What's going to happen? You may take the result. You are extremely sincere in doing so. What is the next step? It's mentioned in the 11th canto. This is called the psychology of a sadhaka, of a practitioner. Shroto, Jata Shado Shude. Even though he listens to Krishna Katha, he loves Krishna Katha, just like you do. But even though he tried to refrain from the waves of sense gratification, because how long should we refrain? This is a key question. How long should we refrain? Krishna says in the Gita, Prakshari vimokshanat, until we drop dead. That's how long we should refrain. But back to that verse of the 11th canto, Krishna is speaking to Uddhav. He's telling, but my devotee sometimes, while trying to refrain, he succumbs. Succumbs, you understand? Succomber, en français. Succumbs. He's trying his level best. But due to his vasanas, to his samskar, due to previous habits, we haven't been a saint all the time, have we? So, due to this, he's been afflicted by samskar from the past, even from this very life. Vasanas, material desires, they are harassing him. Sometimes he succumbs. Krishna goes on to say to Uddhav, he should not lament and feel morose or hopeless. He should feel repentant and carry on with Jatur Shraddha, Krishna Katha, chanting the holy name. This is the psychology of the sadhaka. We are on a fledgling situation. It's fledgling, it's vacillating, it's dangerous. But Krishna knows where we're at. That is why the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, Narottam Das Thakur, all these great souls. Sadak Sanatan is telling Prithu, only the pure devotees can easily keep Maya at bay. And if you take shelter of a pure devotee, you yourself, in times, not immediately overnight, you will be also to keep Maya at bay. Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur, he said, my guru, who is the guru of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur? Gaur Kishore Dasapraja Maharaj. He used to say, my guru, when he chants Hare Krishna, he keeps Kali Yuga at bay. Can you imagine? Kali Yuga means the whole age, the whole ongoing march of Kali Yuga. It's progressing day by day. Every day, the human qualities are diminishing. Memory, goodness, everything is diminishing day by day. So Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur used to say, my guru is such a powerful devotee. He can keep Kali Yuga at bay. He can retain Kali Yuga. So just imagine the power of a pure devotee. Ganga will purify after a prolonged period of time. Okay, so now about prayaschit. It's mentioned here in today's verse that no need of prayaschit. What is prayaschit in Sanskrit? Because here Prabhupada mentions about Vaishnava Parad. Let's say you commit an offense. What is Vaishnava Parad? You offend the Vaishnava. How can you offend the Vaishnava? Please, let's discuss about that. Did you ever offend a Vaishnava? How does it take place? Are you going to consciously, Prabhu, I'm offending you, you're a rascal? Does it work like that? We're not aware. So what is the psychology behind an offense? How does it take place? Yes?
We think we did an offense.
Yes, that's the outcome. But what is the intention that's going to make you a paradi? A paradi means an offender. There's particular unknown intentions in you. You are not even aware, but certainly in your mind, you are, let's say, Gurushu Natra, Gurushu Naramatir, Vaishnave Jatabudi. You may say, well, after all, he's a devotee, but he's an ordinary man. Did you notice he doesn't know how to speak properly? He doesn't eat properly, I notice. He doesn't wash his hand properly. You find fault. It's called, you are a fault finder. Could be, well, I think Vaishnavas from India are better. They're more purified. You consider Vaishnava according to their place of birth. You follow? Oh, he's an American Vaishnava. Good, but not as good as this guy. He's an Indian from India. It's better. This is Narak. Narak means hellish conception. You start to discriminate. You try to box in Vaishnavas. He's from Bengal. He's from Paris. He's well educated. He's not well educated. This is hellish mentality.
He's black.
Yes. Huh?
He's black.
He's black. That's a good one. One time, I don't know if you remember, he left in 2005, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj. He joined in 71. And shortly after he joined, he came to see Srila Prabhupada. He told him, I'm very afraid to tell you, Srila Prabhupada. I'm sorry to say, but your devotees are racist. He was black. What is the answer of Srila Prabhupada? Did he fall into the trap? Because if someone comes to you, Prabhu, you know, I think in New Mayapur they are very racist. I'm black, they look down upon me. What will you say? What will you say to appease that person? What will you say?
Like if you want that person to...
Well, no, it's confiding to you, Prabhu, you know, you can see I'm black, I'm colored. And I found that devotees here in New Mayapur, they're a bit racist. I'm very much turned off. How would you tackle, what would you say to him to appease him? Yes, Prabhu.
He looks black to your eyes.
Sorry?
He looks black to your eyes.
Yeah, he looks black to your eyes. So how did Prabhupada answer? Very interesting. Did he carry on with the flow, going towards him, trying to pat him on the shoulder or something? He said, if you accept their words, you are as guilty as them. In other words, if you believe their words, you are as guilty as them. Then Bhakti Maharaj told us, I remember he told us the story. He said that marked a major shift, a major change in his spiritual life. Because we're not nobody. So if you accept, you know, if you consider yourself, I'm black, I'm white, whatever, and you become mortified, you become affected if someone looks down upon you because you're a black guy, man, you're also guilty. As guilty as those who said you are black. You follow? So he got immediately, that struck him and became Bhakti Maharaj. He was one of the greatest souls that ISKCON has ever seen. Same with being a woman. Oh, it's mentioned in the book sometimes women are less intelligent, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I know, I had one brother from Austria, long back, Haridas Thakur. I mean, I haven't seen him for 30 years. Very tall. And he left ISKCON. He could not swallow that point. Why Prabhupada is saying sometimes women are less intelligent? He never got over that. Never. And one day he left ISKCON. So you can tell, you can see, it can take a drastic turn. Those misconceptions. So how to understand this? I'm black, they're racist. I'm a woman, I'm supposed to be less intelligent. How do you reconcile this? How do you get out of this? Simple. We're not black, we're not women. Simple. Even my son can understand. You're talking to the wrong guy. Oh, you are a lowly woman. You're talking to the wrong guy. I'm not a woman. I'm a spirit soul. So immediately it backfires against him. Yes, Prabhu?
So why he is telling that? Yes, I understand your reason.
Yes.
Votre raisonnement, mais I cannot catch why he is telling women are less intelligent than men.
Okay. Did everyone hear?
Is it to tilt the ego or something like this?
We have different psychomorphological features. There was one sannyasi in Mayapur, Bhakti Vidyapurna Maharaj, you may know him, he's still alive. And he's expert he's a psychologist. I mean, he's a Vaishnava psychologist, so he has very deep insight in psychology. He explained that woman tends to be in the background of their psyche. They're always emotional. And at times, they are very much intellectual. They can take drastic decisions. They can discriminate, discern. The psyche of a man is different. It's quite different. How does the psyche of a man function? Is either they are full-fledged emotional, or full-fledged intellectual. Either or. They cannot have the two at the same time. So this is the nice combination here. When the man is totally carried away by his emotions, his wife is there to straighten him out. Look at, be careful, you are becoming overly emotional. She can straighten him out. And conversely, when at times women tend to be emotional, as soon as you become emotional, you become endowed with a low type of intelligence. You understand? Because emotions is from the mental platform. Mind means thinking, willing, feeling. The mind has a binary function, vikalpa, sankalpa. Vikalpa, sankalpa. Accepting, rejecting within three modes. Thinking, willing, feeling. So as soon as you become emotional, whether you be a man or a woman or a demigod or a cat, doesn't matter. You are hovering on the mental platform. So when the man is into those shoes, then his wife can smoothly and lovingly, when it's done lovingly, you can accept. Be careful. I think you are over the top. You are extremely sentimental, extremely emotional. Men can be like this. And conversely, when it happens to the wife, they can help each other. So the psychomorphological of a lady's change is different from a man. That is why. Why do you think women have been exploited since time immemorial? Because they tend to be weaker in mind, and in mind, the mind is more flickering. That is why they need men to take shelter of. But unfortunately, there is no good man. So they are being exploited by unscrupulous men. You follow? So, if a lady takes shelter of a bona fide guy, Krishna conscious guy, she's all set. Even without doing anything, she shares the same benefits, spiritual benefit of her husband, without doing anything. The option remains, where are the good guys? This is the problem. That is why in Vedic times, polygamy was allowed. Because women wouldn't mind shedding a good guy. Because they know, this person is going to facilitate me to go back to God. And the person, he had the capacity not to be overwhelmed by 2 ladies, 5 ladies, 10 ladies. He was so Krishna conscious. He would take care of them, of the kids, at the same time impart knowledge unto them. This is the proper state of affair. But in Kali Yuga today, it's topsy-turvy. Men are becoming women. You don't even know. Transgender, who is, you see them walking down the road, from the back you cannot tell. Is it a man? Is it a woman? You cannot tell even. Because everything is a hodgepodge. Everything has been watered down due to dearth of Krishna consciousness. There is no Krishna consciousness. As soon as you remove Krishna consciousness from the equation, from the picture, everything will go to hell. The whole world is going to hell with a big smile. The pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. And the epitome of that country is France. France, they have kicked out religion 2 centuries ago during the revolution. See? So, it's just open the window, not here, but if you travel around, you see. It's not the fault of women. They are just being manipulated. Who orchestrated the women's lib? Who orchestrated the women's lib in the 70s in France? Who is behind the women's lib? My previous mother-in-law, I was married twice. Lila Maduri's mother, she's Françoise Fabian, a very great actress. She was the one promoting women's lib in the 60s. But actually it was orchestrated by the men. Because they knew, if we can break down the marriage principle, which is a sacred foundation, Let them run loose. Let them make it free so we can better exploit them. That was the trick of the man, and the woman fell into the trap. Because they get pregnant, the guy's running away, they have to cry from the state, please give me some allowance. So it boils down to always the same point. There is no proper Krishna conscious man. And because of that, it affects the whole society. It has a domino effect. C'est comme un château de cartes. So, what is the remedy? Prabhupada understood the whole thing way before. Let's make them Krishna conscious. Especially if you start with the man, everything will unfold properly. The woman also will benefit, everyone will benefit. You follow?
Yeah, I follow, but for me, I always get the sentence, comparison is poison for me.
For you?
I understand totally what you explained with the women, and to be honest, I agree with you, I have the same reason, but I think it's dangerous to compare. You know,
yeah, but
maybe it's better to say it's different.
when you say I think, who is speaking in you?
Yeah, my ego, of course.
Your mind. Mind is thinking, willing, feeling. So your mind is not yourself. Your mind is just a transformation of ego. There's three guys working in you. Ahankar, mind, intelligence. They are three friends. The mind is reinforcing the false ego. What is false ego? If there is a false ego, there must be a real ego somewhere. The real ego means Jiviras Svarupai Krishna Ranitidas. We are servant of Krishna. You don't want that, okay? So then, it's going to reflect on the plane of matter. What is false ego? Is the reflection of your soul on the plane of matter. You don't want to be a servant of Krishna? Okay. So you're going to have to function within the realm of false egoisms. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a tiger, I'm a demigod. There's 8,400,000 species of life to accommodate all the whims of the wayward living entity. So now the false ego is there. As soon as you want to enjoy separately from Krishna, you have to come down on this in this mature energy. And the false ego takes three functions: mind, intelligence. The mind is there to reinforce the false ego. The mind will tell you, you have to take care of me. The false ego will say, take care of me. Help me to carry on our journey together. The mind, through thinking, willing, feeling, will take decisions which will be implemented by the intelligence, because the mind cannot put things into action. You need the intelligence. Intelligence is the product of passion. The mind is the product of goodness. The mind is meant to help you in Krishna consciousness. But since we've been hovering in this world since time immemorial, the mind has become an enemy to us. The worst enemy is not others, is not macaron, is the mind. When you say, I think, I believe, immediately you can say that, but don't talk about that the absolute truth. I think that this political man is better than Macaron. You can say that. It's totally relative discussion. We don't care. But as soon as you talk about Shastra, then you have to be absolute yourself. So if you are not absolute in your own psyche, in your own realization, then quote Shastra. Because you cannot go wrong if you quote Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. You cannot go wrong. You cannot say, I think. So this is the state of affair. This is the state of affair. We are in a bad predicament. We are in a predicament. We are in a fix. We have to come out. So come out means chant Hare Krishna, whether you be a man, a woman, a rat. Even if you go down the road, you chant Hare Krishna to that tree, the tree will benefit. Can you imagine? You go to see a cow, Hare Krishna, the cow will benefit. This is absolute. So it doesn't matter, man, woman. we should not over-identify. This is the main thing. Because if you identify to this world as a woman, you become more conditioned. If you become identified to this world as a man, you tend to exploit the woman because you are stronger. So whichever your species of life, there is good and bad. The problem with men is we tend to overload. The false ego is stronger as a man. What is the greatness of being a woman? They are more subservient. This is the greatness of being a woman. They are subservient, better, easier than men towards God. You follow? They are more docile. Men has more hard time to surrender because they have a stronger ego. So whichever category doesn't matter. We should not so much over-identify. When you have a fight with your wife, just consider these are just the transformations of the modes. This is not her as a soul. This is not me as a soul. We are just these transformations of chemistry, which is not suiting at the moment, but it's just temporary.
So would you say that the reverse of being more intelligent is having a reinforced ego for the man?
Yeah. You see, the problem of being a man is the ahankar, the ego. You go to any religious place in the world, Christian, Muslim, Jews, you find more women than men. Isn't it true? You find more women by far because they are more docile. They are more subservient. So when it comes to bhakti, it's better to be a woman. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I overlapped a little bit.
Very interesting.
Yeah.